Hey traders, John Howell here. So, bit of a happy new year to everyone, and I want to say thank you so much for following my videos and going down the path of just supporting me and following me. And I hope that the videos that I have been putting out throughout this year have been helping you from there. My goal through these videos of YouTube is to teach you some processes, thinkings, understanding, strategies that have taken me 20 years to really get a good handle on when it comes to my own personal trading. I want to touch on a few things here. I'm looking at my last 12 months, and even though I'm pretty sure for a lot of us, right, 2024 this year, man, it really came with a lot of challenges, right? It really did. And I noticed this for a lot of people out there. 2024 was a really challenging year. Like it really was. There were so many ups and downs and ins and outs, and then now, even for me personally, right, there was 1 month this year where I had three what we call holy shit moments, right? And it was quite tough. It was quite challenging. But I really want to just share some things that I've done this year. I'm coming off the back of a really good year. Overall, it's been a really good year, and I want to come off the back of a few things I wanted to share with you that not only for my own personal trading, if you like to see my actual real equity curve for this year, I've got to update it for December. But if you go to getjohnswap.com, there should be a link in the description there. And you'll be able to see my equity curve this year. So I'm coming off the back of a really good year this year for my own, for myself. And I know what I've done this year is going to be an acceleration into next year. And that's one thing I want to start off with. What's helped me have a really good year this year, and how I personally continue to get better, right? Because no one's perfect, and how I continue to get better at trading. And this is something I want to share with you because hopefully it's going to sort of give you some guidance on, we're going to arrive somewhere in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years time frame, right? And we just want to make sure that wherever we do arrive in 2030, as an example, we want to arrive at a place where all the work has built foundations and momentum to stack on each other, right? One of the worst things that I used to do as a trader is I used to start again, start again. And it was like, okay. And what the start again for me was, for so many years, it was like, right, I'm starting fresh. I'm going to be disciplined. I know and I was starting all over again from a systems point of view and from a strategy point of view and so on and so forth. And it took me a long time to realize that the reason why I wasn't making progress every year, right? The reason why the last 5 years was basically the same thing every single year was because I was never really sticking to one approach and becoming really good at that, right? So for the last I've been really keeping screenshots and all that sort of stuff of the way that I'm trading now, and what that I've learned from my mentor. I got screenshots of trades that I've taken back 2017, I think it is, right? 2017, of different screenshots that meet the trading plan that I use right now. And one thing I've learned is that we have a trading approach, right? We have a trading setup and a trading approach. And it's not until that I continue to stick with that every single year and not changing, not looking for the easy row out and the easy road and so on and so forth. One thing that really sort of has helped me every single year get better and better and better each year is that through all the years of trading this way, right, of how I'm trading the markets, every single year I get better, right? I get better at identifying the patterns that do really well, right, when it comes to the setup. But not only that, but as you know, when it comes to a trading setup, which is a trading system, a chart pattern on the markets, it's all the finer little details. It's all the small little details, right? So I have 5 main rules that I like to follow. And throughout the year, I look at some of my trades, and there was a period there where I had a couple of losing trades in a row, 2, 3, 4 losing trades in a row. And if I go back to them, I'm like, oh, rule number 3 wasn't exactly what I was looking for. You know what I mean? And this is where, like, for me, if you actually see, one of the best things that I do every single year is I take a lot of screenshots, right? A lot of screenshots of trades that actually meet my trading rules, my trading setup. So I can take a lot of screenshots of all different types of markets, because the way that I personally trade is I like to trade a trading setup that applies to any market. So what we're looking at right now on the screen is we're looking at the crypto market, right? There's a crypto hourly chart that actually just happened just recently. And my trading plan is actually really, really simple, right? My trading plan is, if I just see this here, my trading plan is really, really simple. It's actually, you know what? Let me actually bring this down to here because I did a screenshot for my Patreon coaching class, right? This is basically my trading plan, right? And so the fuller bullish side, I'm looking for a sideways here, preferably with small bars, right? I'm looking for a strong moving average. Now this here is a blue moving average, so I like to use the 52, and then I like to have a large bar, right? So that's the foundations of what's called a bullish setup. And then the bearish setup is the same thing flipped upside down, right? So the bearish setup is the pullback with small bars, but the moving average is now trending down. And then I have the large bar breaking out, and then away we go. And this is an example of a trade that happened literally just last week, actually, because I did this screenshot for my coaching clients to really help them. There's so much we can focus on when it comes to technical analysis, right? Moving averages and trend lines and Fibonacci levels and extension levels and Elliott waves and all these different indicators. But I'm telling you right now is that this is all I trade with, right? This is all I trade with. And I've been trading like this for a really, 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 really long time when it comes to this here. And one thing I realized that the more simpler I can bring it back, the better my trading has gotten. And one thing I was saying before was one that's really helped me this year and every other year, but especially this year when it comes to the actual trading side of things, has been just sticking with the process, right? And me getting better because I screw up, right? I said before, there was a period there where I had 3 or 4 losing trades in a row this year. Now they weren't big losses, but then I realized, for example, I like to see this little bullish example here as an example. See how I've got this sideways small bars? See this bullish, look at this here. This here, see that through there? See how there's a pullback here. There's the 52, there's the large bar, and away we go, right? Like that's the example from there. So the whole thing is like sometimes I took a trade where it wasn't small bars. It did have the setup, but it was really volatile like this, and therefore I had some losing trades. It's like, that's number 3, right? Pull back here with small bars. I pull back. Now pullback is a sideways movement, and then with the moving average coming up or coming down, right? So that's the example from there. And so one thing I want to really share with you here, that the lay of the land for you guys is for you to get better next year, whatever you are doing this year, okay? Now, if you are sticking to a trading approach, the best thing I can say is that as we get better at trading that approach, our eye gets better at seeing the patterns, what works, what doesn't work, and our eye gets better at identifying the patterns. So when they start to happen in real time, we can take advantage of it. All right. And this generally there's no, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? There's no substitute for screen time. And this is where, guys, I'm so big on taking screenshots. I'm massive on taking all these different screenshots and different things I'm looking for, because I'm always identifying I'm always looking to identify these setups here and as you can see, I've done 403 screenshots this year. I've put together, some of them are duplicates, but I've put together. Now, why have I done this? Every single one of these screenshots really is in the bracket of sideways movement and a large bar breaking out, right? These are 4 different examples through here, right? We can see here, what do we have here? That's the sideways movement, breakaway, sideways movement, breakaway. Like, you get the point, right? It's actually quite a simple process. But as I've gotten better at identifying the exact setups that work really, really well, and then taking hundreds of screenshots through that, and now thousands and thousands and thousands of screenshots, my eye has now gotten really, really, really good, and I keep getting better, by the way. You never stop growing at identifying in real time the setups that's not only A, likely to be a profitable trade, but B, it's likely to make a big move. Right, and I'm in 2 trades right now just like that, And I think there's another 3 trades that I've got on my watch list right now that are setting up with this. I just need the breakaway bar. And that's what I say, one of the biggest mistakes that I made trading early on was having too much on my charts. Right? Way too much on my charts. And now, as I said before, how I trade is just like this here, right? Here's a screenshot of a trade that I did, right? And so on and so forth. So there's so many different screenshots here that I can show you, but the whole thing about this here is this here, right? So this is a screenshot of a stock right now of what I'm looking for, right? Now remember I said before, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a sideways movement with small bars. I'm looking for the moving average to be trending up or trending down, right? See what we have here? Now what do I need? I now need what? I now need my large bar. Right now, it's as simple as that, and then we get a nice follow through. So, the big thing I really want to sort of share with you when it comes to my personal trading and my growth as a trader is that the more that I just stuck at the process and I used every year to continue building, getting better, right? I'm not starting again. I'm not starting fresh, and the more that I did that, the better I got at my own trading, because now I'm identifying the small little details, the setups and so on and so forth that are likely to do really well for me. And so from this process of going down this path here, again, just like this here, this is a setup that's in the stock market right now that's setting up. All I need is what? My confirmation candle, which is, look at this here. What am I looking for with this bearish setup? I'm looking for, and here's the template, right? Or in fact, I've got another template through here. Where are you? Right here, right? So this is the template here. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the pullback with small bars. I'm looking for the moving average to be trending down. And then I'm looking for the large bar to be breaking past this support level. Okay? So that large bar, the reason why that's important, because that's now the high probability of starting the move. You never know what's going to happen here. See everyone jump the gun early. And if I use this bullish example here, right, look at this here. Large bar, when we got the large bar breaking out, that was the start of that nice up move from there. Make sense? So I'm just sort of sharing my thoughts about my personal trading this year, guys. And the reason why I know 2025 is going to be really amazing for me is because of my growth of looking at the patterns, looking at the setups that do really well. But not only that, but my eye is getting so much better each and every year as myself as a trader of going down that path. Makes sense? So this year is going to be an acceleration year for me personally, because I'm getting really good at one approach, and that tends to take time, right? You don't just get it doesn't just happen overnight, but you start to get this sort of really good sort of traction on the positive side. And for so many years I was focusing on all the different indicators and you name it, right? And then I was confused, and then every single year I was doing something different. And my first, I'd say I traded 5 years, but not really. I think I traded 6 months, and I did that 10 times. You know what I mean? Like every 6 months I'll be changing systems, changing approaches, change, looking for that thing, right? And then one thing I realized is that now, especially looking at my entire year, I've had a really good year from a trader point of view. It's from just building that, and once again, I know that next year is going to be amazing because I'm building. I'm not looking for the flashy thing, right? I'm just going to keep building on what works and what does work, and I am personally just going to keep getting better through the screenshots and getting my eye to look for in real time these opportunities that it's likely to do really well. Makes sense? And so this is the whole first thing that I really want to sort of guide you guys through here is that if trading is the thing for you, then what we don't want to do is we don't want to be starting again. Now, if you are starting again, you want to say, okay, you know what? I understand that this is going to take some time. That's where, like, when it comes to my personal coaching program, I'm with you for a whole 12 months, right? Because it does take time. Accountability, learning, taking screenshots, getting better. It does take time, right? It's not an overnight get rich quick scheme. And that's what my coaching program is definitely not about. My coaching program is just to help you over a 12-month period just to keep getting better at identifying the setups and building confidence and so on and so forth, right? Going down that path from there. So that's the very first thing I do. I do want to sort of go down that path from there, but also I want to sort of, I've had a really good year from that there, but also I've had one of my most successful years as a coach as well too. Meaning I've had more success stories this year in the last 12 months than I have any other year. In fact, I've had more people sign up to 2025 of my coaching program than any other year period. And that just comes down to not only the way that I'm trading myself, but the way that I'm coaching, the way that I'm helping people. I'm seeing so many success stories coming out of what I'm doing. And it's not only, see, there's a difference from trading and then teaching, right? And coaching. There's a difference here. And so for me, by the way, coaching has actually helped me become a much better trader when it comes to that. And this is where, like, I've gotten, again, if you go to getjohntop.com or you click on the link on the description there, I've got all the testimonials there that I've been getting, especially this year and all the other years, of people that are following my coaching program. Again, my whole coaching program is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not there, right? But if you're serious about, I know this is going to take some time, I need accountability, right? I need some coaching, I need some mentoring, then I know my coaching program will be a good fit for you, and I know they'll be able to help you out. Again, if you I think it's that second link in the description, you click on that, you can go check out all the details there. But it's not a get-rich-quick scheme thing, right? So the purpose of me saying all of that is I want to share now more personal stuff with you. This year for me, I have made a deliberate effort on really taking my actions to a whole new level in the commitment of what I'm doing. And what I mean by this is this year, at the start of the year, I moved. Right now, I'm living in a location that at the start of the year, I knew no one. Absolutely no one. I didn't know people from the gyms. I didn't know the boxing gyms because I'm in the boxing, right? I didn't know anyone. And so I moved to a new location because I didn't want to know anyone. I wanted to start fresh from that point of view and use that as a catapult. I also made a deliberate effort to say no to these people, even though they're not bad people in my life. I just realized their mindset is not where I need to be, right? And I can't be going down that path. And so I've really walked away from a handful of friends in my life, but I just can't hang around them right now. There's been seasons of no, right? A season of no. And just stepping back and saying, I need to take care of myself here. I can't hang around with you. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, and the reason why this is important for you guys is because one thing I realize more and more and more is momentum it takes time to develop the momentum, right, in our lives. And I find by me saying no to these people, and then, but in the meantime, I've listened to more podcasts, more audiobooks, stuff like that. And listening to these people that are playing life at a higher level than me through audible books and so on and so forth, it really starts to shift the way you think about your life. You know what I mean? And about how you're thinking about your life and how you're taking things on. So I think it was, there is a audible book that I was listening to before. I was actually listening to a podcast today. But there's an audible book that I was listening to, and it was from Donald Trump, right? So I'm just getting this here. Audible books. Right, yeah, Think Big and Kick Ass in Business and Life, right? So there's a lot of things like that I've been listening to and just really, really, really trying to shape my mindset and shape my life, right? Now, this whole 12 months for me hasn't been holidays, hasn't been travel, hasn't been any of that, hasn't been hanging out with a lot of friends. It's been a season for the last 12 months of saying no to a lot of things. Moving to a new location, going to where I don't know a lot of people. And I did that because I need to reset. And if I'm serious about where I want to be and what I want to do in my life, then it requires the effort from there, right? And so therefore I've pulled away from a lot of people in my life. And the result of that, I'm coming off the back of a really successful year as a trader. And I'm also coming off the back of one of my most successful years as a coach as well too. So that's a double whammy for me. And I'm looking back, I'm like, why did this happen this year? This year's been an incredible year on both sides for me. But why is that? And one of the things for me is just making that deliberate effort and action to say no to hanging out with these people. Again, and it's not that they're bad people. You know, like for example, there's one person that I know, he's a friend of mine. But the whole thing is like when he's one of these people that when it comes down to his trading, he's just like, doing all the wrong things, you know what I mean? Like trading against the trend and looking for the easy road out and looking on Telegram and these people looking for signals and all that sort of stuff. Like he's not serious about developing a really good, if you're doing that, looking for the signal service and looking for someone else to tell you what to do and so on and so forth, you're not serious about becoming a good trader, right? Becoming a really good trader is self-reliant, right? Self-reliant. I need to become good at it, knowing exactly when to get in. Not someone else telling me. That's when you make super growth, right? So for me, it's like for him, I see that he's like, he'll put a few $1,000s in an account and then he'll blow it up and he'll put another, and he do this year after year after year, but he's not serious. And he's like, and even when I try to help him, it's just like he just doesn't take it serious. But then he'll complain about how he doesn't like his job and he eventually wants to become a full-time trader. And that's what he talks about all the time. But then his actions are not, I really need to get some help. I need to get some coaching. I need to get some mentoring. I need to start treating this more serious. And so therefore that's an example of, I can't be around you, right? I can't be around someone who keeps talking all this stuff but does nothing about it. Like, I know for me to move my life in the positive direction, it's up to me, right? It's up to me to say, okay, I need to start listening to more audiobooks. I need to start listening to more people that are playing life. I need to, stop listening to these people and stop hanging around with these people and so on and so forth. And so it's up to me, right? And so like if I'm hanging around this particular gentleman, this friend, and I see the way that he is through, and this happens like so much, nothing changes. I'm just like, I can't be with you. You don't change. You're the same. He's not a bad person. It's just, I can't be around someone who's going to complain and whinge and whine about his life all the time. But even when I do offer him help, someone who's been doing it for 20 years, he just doesn't want to take my advice or let me help him. But then he complains and whinges. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, I've got no time for you. I have no time for the complaining, whinging, whining. It's like, yeah, okay, initially something might happen. Like, okay, let's move forward. Let's take action, right? Because that's the only way to move forward now. So for me personally, not hanging out with these people, and that's just one of a few people that I know, that it really has freed up a lot of space in my life. And when it comes back down to really just focusing, really just focusing on one simple thing when it comes to my life, and that is, I want to make sure that I am one of the most successful private traders on the planet. And, I have really big goals when it comes to that. So my goal is to become one of the most successful private traders on the planet, right? And so when it comes down to that, and plus I also have, big goals and so on and so forth, for me to go down that path of doing that, guess what? It just requires a lot of, I just have to say, you know what? It's a season of no. It's a season of no, I can't hang around with you anymore. It's like, I just don't relate to you anymore. And this is what's going to happen with you guys as well too, right? I've noticed this more in the last couple of years than ever before. And what I mean by that is that people that you used to hang around with, you just don't like, why was I friends with you? Why was I friends with you? Like, what is this all about? Like, and then suddenly you start to see things differently from them, and what ends up happening, right? When you meet these people, on the same wavelength as you, right? You're on the same level. But if you're a go-getter, if you're a grower, if you're one of these people that keeps going out there, then one thing that is going to happen is you're going to outgrow them, and they're going to stay the same, but you just now outgrow them, and therefore you're now in a different wavelength, different thinking, and then you start to man, I don't even relate to you anymore. Like, what happened to our friendship? What happened is that you continue to grow and they didn't, and therefore you let these people go. It's like, why do I want to hang out with you? And there's been so many friends in my life in the last 4 or 5 years that now I look back, and again, I'm thinking about this as a end of year type thing. And I'm like, but I also understand by me actually making that deliberate action of saying no to these people, right, has created a positive, massive positive in my coaching program, in my own personal trading. And because that's the most important thing for me, right, is that. And because that's been the case, I've made really big progress from there. So the really big things for me, guys, has been just each and every year, I focus on the same strategy, the same setups, right? Next year, 2025, I'm going to be focused on the same setups. It's nothing new, right? So when I identify a really good opportunity and I have one of my goals is a really big profit. I have a certain money goal that I want to make on one particular trade, on a particular trade, right? I know that that's going to happen, just a matter of time, right? And so therefore, same for you guys, right? If you're sticking to the same setup and the same type of process and the same patterns, but you're just getting better at them 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, and you're like, man, I'm starting to really get good at this thing, right? Because you're starting to get really good at trading the patterns that like to make good moves. Not only that, but then you start to get really good on, that's the entry, right? Then you start to get really good at what sort of techniques do I use to actually maximize the profit so I can let the profits run and cut the losses short and so on and so forth. And again, that's the reason why I have a personal 12-month coaching program walking you through that. But there's a sacrifice, right? If you want it, there's the sacrifice of going down this path of becoming the top 1% in this world called trading. One, it takes a long time. Two, the sacrifice that you need to take from the way you're thinking about life and the way you're seeing life, it needs to take a dramatic turn, right? And from that process, it's like, I know for myself that I need to say no to a lot of these things. And that's where the effort comes involved with it, right? Because it's not an easy thing. It's not an overnight get rich thing, you know what I mean? It does take time. Unfortunately, the time will catch up, right? We're in 2020, almost in 2025 right now. And one thing that I realized is that 2020 was the cold COVID stuff, right? What I'm saying here is that the more we're jumping around, not developing any foundation, any solid sort of path behind us, that each and every year we're just starting new. And after 5 years, you haven't built a massive foundation of using every year as a catapult for next year and next year. The other reason why I've gotten much better at trading now, and I'm pretty good at trading right now. Actually, I'm doing really well, but is because I've just gotten really good at getting really good at one type of trading approach. That's all it is, right? And again, I'm sharing with you on the screen right now that one type of trading approach. Now, there's finer details that make this here, and that's what happens. Like what you're learning right there is probably about 70% of my trading system, and then the other ones is the actual checklist that I give my coaching clients, right? How to identify, how much of a sideways movement with small bars do we need, and all that sort of stuff, right? And the large bar and so on and so forth, right? And so every year, if you eventually want to get to the point, if you think about like an Elon Musk, right? Why is Tesla today? Because he spent 10 years getting better through the electric cars and so on and so forth, right? So if you want to become really good at trading, it's not about just signing up to a program and becoming good. That's why I don't just sell programs. I sell coaching. I sell mentoring, because it's about having a strategy, but then all the other stuff, right? Accountability, the mindset, the correct thinking about how trading successfully works. And then if you can start to build on that, then you start to have a good solid foundation. That's why I said before with you guys that this year has been my most successful trading year ever because I'm teaching these concepts to my coach, to my clients, and they're sticking at the process for a whole 12 months, right? And as you know, if I can just get you to stick at one process for a whole 12 months, 2020, at the end of 2025, you're going to have some super growth because you're getting so good at one thing. And when you become so good at one thing, now you become a legend, right? It's like, oh my goodness, you made how much on one trade? You made how much money this year? Oh my goodness. How'd you do it? I stuck at one trading approach, right? And that's how you become lucky, right? Is your preparation month after month after month, taking screenshots and so on and so forth of that one trading approach. Now you're building that solid foundation for the rest of your life. And so next year, guys, you want to be, again, if you're serious about becoming a really good trader in your life, then you want to make sure that there's a solid foundation every single year, right? There is no starting again. There's just like, man, this year's an acceleration for my results next year, right? And each and every year is where am I going with this over the next 5 years, right? So I have 20, 30 goals, and so on and so forth. And I just recently dropped my daughter off at school just recently. Dropped my daughter off at work, and I was talking to her about some of my big goals and stuff like that. But I was telling her that these things take time, right? But in order for you to start to get to that lucky place, right, where you become a multiple six-figure, or even, like my mentor, we multiple seven figures per year. How do you eventually get to that point? One, it just takes a lot of time. And two, you can start to shortcut that time by really becoming really good at one approach, right? And then having one of the best things that I've done is not only from a trading, because you have a trading strategy, right? But having a mentor there to teach you about the concepts, about the right thinking about trading, right? Because most people, and even myself, most traders are thinking the wrong thing about how to actually make a good amount of income this year from trading. And so I really wanted to share some of this stuff with you guys, that it hasn't always been easy, right? And there's been so many challenging times, even for myself this year. But it's through that challenging times and through making a sacrifice, of saying no to these people that are just not on the same wavelength with me. Yes, to listen to more podcasts. Yes, to listen to more audible books, right? Yes, to spending more time becoming so focused and disciplined at one trading approach and taking hundreds and hundreds of screenshots of that trading setup across all markets, right? So your eye can get better and better and better. And you do that for 6 months, 12 months, and so on and so forth. You too can have an amazing, amazing year. So for you guys, for 2025, I want you to have an amazing year, but remember, each and every single month next year is a platform to get better each and every month. You don't get really good at trading, at becoming really good at trading, if you're focusing on, say, 5 different setups, right? Or a generic, once it hits support or resistance, I'm going to buy. We know that, right? We know that. We need a really good crystal trading plan, like what I'm showing here right now, right? What's the setup? What's the entry bar look like? A really good solid plan, right? And then having that, and each and every single month, you stick to that plan, and you personally get better at that, right? You personally get better at seeing the opportunities and seeing for your own eye. And again, this just takes incredible amount of hours of repetition of chart time, going through the screenshots. And again, this is the reason why I have so many screenshots here, because I'm showing you and I'm sharing with you all of these setups here, because it's training my eye to look for those really good opportunities, right? So each and every single month next year, guys, it's a platform to help you get better, right? So this month you're starting fresh, right? And again, if you do need help with this, guys, then go check out my Inner Circle coaching program. I'll be able to help you through this. But each and every month is about getting better and getting better and getting better, right? And how you do that is stick at one trading approach. I don't care who it is, whoever on the internet you follow. If there's someone out there that you really do follow and you really do resonate with, then go deep with that person, right? And focus on one trading approach, and become so good at that trading approach that when all of that preparation is met with amazing opportunities right now today, you're the person that starts to get really lucky in your trading.